1.5 weeks away from training camp, and unfortunately, I am here to tell you that we may be going down a very familiar rabbit hole. Today, we'll talk about a situation that has been ongoing for way too long and give you the latest update. Also, another team in the Eastern Conference continues to bolster their roster. So, what should the Sixers do? How do they fix this? We'll talk about all of it and more right here on Philly Take with RB. But welcome into the show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and hit that noti bell. I know people have been tapped out for the offseason, but Sixers basketball is soon to be back, and we have a lot of good NBA coverage coming this season. Now, this is what Quentin Grimes put out on his Instagram story a couple days ago. So some people took this as, hey, I'll be back soon. I took it as, hey, here's a picture of me playing basketball. I miss playing the game. Quentin Grimes has also joined the TikTok wave, so he's out there making TikToks. He doesn't really seem to be caring at this point about what's happening. You know, his agent is handling the situation. But my question of the day to the people out there listening is, how do you feel about the 76ers heading into training camp? Are you confident? Are you not confident? Do you think that Joel Embiid video the other day is going to help us get pumped up? And are you stoked? Do you think Quentin Grimes will actually be there? How do you feel overall with your thoughts about the Sixers as we head into training camp soon? Give me your thoughts down below, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the other side. But real quick, I'll tell you something I do feel good about, and that is Sleeper this weekend, man. Shout out to Sleeper. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit with Sleeper by using my code PhillyTake. And as I alluded to before, man, I just love this app. It's so easy to navigate. All you have to do is pick over or under. And for example, you can even throw a promo in that they have going on right now. Patrick Mahomes over 0.5 passing yards. Look, the Chiefs might be cooked, but I think Patrick Mahomes is going to hit 1 passing yard. Let's see. What else should we throw in here? How about Christian McCaffrey over 0.5 touchdowns against the Saints? No Brock Purdy. Yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey can do that. And then we'll throw in one more. How about Derrick Henry with a touchdown against the Browns this weekend? It's as easy as that. Boom, you put your entries in, you make your picks, and you win on Sleeper. Shout out to them. Once again, check out the Sleeper app. Get a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit with promo code PhillyTake. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right, man. The 76ers have done it again. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there's a resolution in sight because according to Jake Fisher on the Stein line, he said this, quote, when it comes to Quentin Grimes, there has been no tangible movement to relay when it comes to his ongoing restricted free agency stalemate with the team. So now we're calling it a stalemate. Essentially, we could be heading down a familiar road. Does this ring a bell? Does anybody remember this? A couple years ago, one of the craziest things I've ever seen, Ben Simmons sitting out of training camp. Then he shows up. He's on the third team. He's got a phone in his pocket. Crazy stuff. And then just a little while later, we had James Harden the following year who comes out and he's sitting with PJ Tucker, actually 2 years later. And James Harden finally shows up after sitting out of media day and the training camp at first. I don't want to go down this. Does any other Sixers fan out there feel like they just need a little bit of a refresh? And maybe I'm not talking about the whole roster. Maybe I'm not talking about, you know, how they approach training camp, like just overall. Like I think Sixer fans this offseason, and it's been evident in their lack of presence everywhere, are just fed up. Like they just want normalcy. Can we just have one normal training camp? Last year, I thought finally we're going to have a normal training camp. And then Paul George shows up and Joel Embiid's not there. You know, Joel Embiid is out and he never ends up playing. And then Paul George gets hurt in the preseason. I mean, it's just one thing after the other. So are we going to hit a point now where Quentin Grimes is a no-show at Sixers training camp? I mean, not to go down the same rabbit hole. We've talked about it so many times this offseason. But the Sixers right now are sitting at around $22 million under the second apron. And there's been reports in recent days they might try to trade Drummond or Kelly Oubre to free up more space. But we just saw Josh Giddey get his contract a couple days ago. He gets 4 years, $100 million. And we've said it all the time. It's all about timing, right? Josh Giddey has now reset the market a bit. He's younger. He's probably a better player. He had a better season than Grimes. And you have to take it into account with Grimes. Was it legit? Was it real, what we saw last year? Personally, I do think some of it was. And you look at a team like Oklahoma City, for example, right? OKC is about to get the Sixers' first-round pick next year if it doesn't fall in the top 4, which is not likely, right? You need a lot of luck, as we saw with the draft lottery. They're about to get another first-round pick. They have a team filled with young, feisty guards, and maybe the Sixers do want to kind of replicate that and keep a guy around like Quentin Grimes. But in the case of a Josh Giddey, is Quentin Grimes going to get $25 million, which he originally wanted? No. And at this point, is he going to get 22 or 20? Probably not. I originally predicted it would come in around 17 to 18. I don't know if the offer for that is even there at this point. I think the Sixers are trying to lowball him because they have some leverage. But as we have said, they have to very carefully tiptoe because now we're a week and a half away. This is no more like, hey, we still have a month and a half. They're about to go into training camp. And if Quentin Grimes is missing camp and he's not ready and really in the flow of the team, now it's like, man, this is a distraction. So one side is going to have to bite. As I said last week, I think the most realistic option at this point is to take the one-year qualifying offer, call it a day. Grimes hits free agency again next year. Hopefully he stays healthy and all that. And maybe the Sixers can work it out differently. Or if they do end up paying him, maybe they get it to the right amount where it could be a perfect trade chip and, find that right balance. But this is starting to become an ugly situation again. And I really hope we don't have another training camp distraction because I just want it to go normal for once. And yeah, I don't think I would pay Quentin Grimes $22 million a year either. Just look at the landscape of the team. They've been burned with bad contracts and they're finally building young and through the draft and through rookie contracts. And they're trying to kind of get on that OKC timeline. I do believe in the defensive presence of Quentin Grimes. I think he could really complement a guy like Tyrese Maxey well in the backcourt. But then again, you have Jared McCain coming off injury. You have VJ Edgecombe, and you have to find minutes and touches for all of these guys. So going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But beware, Sixer Nation, it might be happening again. Speaking of again, the Knicks are adding more to their team as today Malcolm Brogdon agrees to a one-year contract with the New York Knicks. Entering his 10th NBA season, the former sixth man of the year gives the Knicks key backcourt depth per Shams Charania. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but this is a good move. Brogdon is a bit older now. He's 30-something, I think, and he is injury-prone. But when on the floor, is a really good backup guard. And the Knicks brought back Landry Shamet. They went out and got Jordan Clarkson this offseason. And now they get Malcolm Brogdon. And in fact, it's actually kind of similar to a Sixers timeline where you look at the Knicks' big contracts, right? Jalen Brunson, then they bring in these other guys around him, Karl Anthony Towns, and they use all their draft capital. They get Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. The Knicks are doing it the right way because their core is healthy. They go to the conference finals, they come up short, and yeah, they did choke again. And as much as I don't like the Knicks, they're having a pretty good offseason because they were able to keep their pieces intact. I still think they should not have fired their coach, but they did. And now they're just adding in the margins. And when you think about the perfect replica or the perfect blueprint for the 76ers, it actually was supposed to be like this. You have your three guys in place or your core in place, and you go out and you upgrade around these players. But unfortunately, the best way to look at the Sixers right now is a big fat question mark. We don't know what they're going to be. We don't know who's going to be healthy and who's going to be on the floor. You hope that it works out. But now you have guys like Malcolm Brogdon who are going to the Knicks, who are stacking up on another team in the Eastern Conference with what looks to be a wide open landscape. And given that the Knicks were in the conference finals last year, they're probably going to be one of the favorites to go back early on. And if Brogdon can stay on the floor, maybe in a reduced role with limited minutes, he's going to provide some three-point shooting, some versatile defense on the perimeter, and really just some depth that they need, especially some playmaking off that bench, which they did not have off the bench in the playoffs. So that's really where we're at, man. Do you think the New York Knicks are having the best offseason in the Eastern Conference? What do you think about the rest of the landscape? What do you think about the 76ers? Will they end up paying Quentin Grimes? Will they keep him around for 3, 4, 5 years? And will he be a factor on this team? Should he be? Maybe the Sixers can just run 3-guard lineups all season. I don't know. Give me your thoughts down below. What do you think? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.